party people. Welcome once again to the Party of One podcast, the actual play RPG podcast where the gaming table is always set for two. I'm your host as always, Jeff Stormer, and this week on the show, I am joined by Jonathan Lavallee for a game of We Used to Be Friends. We Used to Be Friends is a game of high school teen mystery, inspired, like the title suggests, by Veronica Mars, as well as Riverdale, Brick, other sort of like noir mystery stories that unfold in a high school setting. It is very cool. I really enjoyed the game. I think it really shines in how we played it, sort of the collaborative setting that Jonathan and I made together, the way that we're sort of spontaneously creating clues together and pointing us towards a mystery that is very quickly getting out of hand. Put simply, I really love this game. I thought it was really, really awesome, and I really can't wait for you to check it out. You can pick up your own copy of We Used to Be Friends at firestorminc.itch.io, or you can check the show notes for more information. I do have one thing for you before we dive in, one quick note, and that is to join me this Monday, as of the date of this recording, Monday, May 17th, at twitch.tv/OneShotRPG for the Miracle Monday Super Stream, a special interactive solo live-through play of Anyone Can Wear the Mask. I'm going to be playing through the game and taking suggestions and plot twists and adding characters into the story based on listener donations. It is going to be extremely cool. It is a fundraiser for Trans Lifeline. I'm really excited about it. Join me Wednesday, 12 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/OneShotRPG for the Miracle Monday Super Stream. And with all that said, let's throw it over to me in the past so that he can get started with the show. Take it past me. Thanks, future me. This week, I am extremely excited to be sitting down with Jonathan Lavallee. Jonathan, thank you so much for coming on Party of One.
Not a problem. Thanks for having me.
So, real quick at the top of the show, why don't you take a moment to let the lovely listeners at home know about exactly what we're playing this week, as well as anything else you've got going on that you might want them to know about.
Not a problem. So we're playing a game called We Used to Be Friends. It's my collaborative teenage detective storytelling game. It's powered by the apocalypse, but you don't have a GM that's running the mystery. You kind of build the mystery as you play the game. That's kind of the big thing I've been working on. It's been a labor of love for about 5 years, and that kind of indie way you do things. And yeah, that's what's happening right now. Hell yeah.
I'm extremely excited for this. Once you pitched the game to me, I was like, let's do it. Let's make this happen. So let's do it. Let's make this happen. We've made some characters in advance, but we still need to. I guess we should introduce our characters and the city that they will be inhabiting, and then we will make a mystery and dive into play.
Absolutely. So I'll go first.
Yeah.
My character, he's the delinquent. It's Malcolm. He has angry eyes and a rebellious look. His pronouns are he, him. Now, the way this game works is you choose what trait you want to use with your basic moves.
Mm-hmm.
So he figures out clues with gumshoes with eyes. He puts it all together with body. He opens up with hard. And actions with rash, and he fights with soft.
I love it. I am playing Erica McMillan. Erica is the crew leader. Erica has angry and confident eyes, a rough look, and a crew that we'll introduce later. I want to build some suspense before I introduce my crew. But Erica looks for clues with gumshoe with hard, puts it all together with rash, opens up with her eyes, and actions with soft, and fight with body.
Excellent. Just about to punch you in the face more than anything else. I'll just say mean things about you.
Yes, indeed. So the city, the town that this is set in is the town of Chaplin's Peak. It is a town made up of haves and have-nots, as is core to the game's sort of world aesthetic. And the haves in this particular town have technology. Somebody struck it big with an app and have sort of reshaped the town around that. A big sort of tech boom has happened. And this has clashed with a lot of old money and real estate. A lot of there's a long history of exploitation unfolding in the town of Chaplin's Peak, and that clash has sort of taken the shape in the form of real estate speculation, and in the form of sort of a real estate bubble happening as new rich clashes with old rich, and the sort of have-nots caught in the middle of that.
Right. And they're also clashing with like the techno money, right?
Yeah.
Which is even worse than nouveau riche.
Yeah. It's like it's terrible. It's awful is really what it is. But it is a world that I'm excited to dig into and to cause some trouble in.
Right. And again, part of the game too, when you build your city, you figure out why there's a lot of people who don't have a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
And so the reason we picked two, there's a single major employer. So the tech company just burn and churn hiring practices just mean that you're either working there for a lot of money or you're not, or you're working somewhere else to support it and not making a lot of money. And we chose, there's a lot of veterans. I mean, in North America, we don't treat our veterans particularly well. And so we're not far from an Air Force base,
Yep.
which indicates another reason why there's a lot of people who don't have a lot of things.
And a few noteworthy locations. Let me find, now that we made some notes about locations that I want to dig into. Actually, we'll introduce those as we go. I think that makes more sense.
Perfect.
All right. Well, then with that is our town. That is our sort of opening theme song, wide angle shot of the town of Chaplin's Peak. And with that, I think it's time for us to make a mystery.
Right. So this one shot, we'll just do a single episode mystery.
Yep.
We won't worry too much about the other ones in the full game. There's a season-long mystery, which tells you when your whole kind of campaign is done, as well as your personal and an episode one. So what we need to do is we need to come up with 6 elements of a mystery.
Okay.
So what's the problem? I call it the crime, but what's the thing that's happened? Who it's happened to? Who brings it to us? That's the client. They can be the victim, but not always. Sometimes it's like, oh, I don't want to deal with it, and someone's brother or cousin or sister or who brings it up. Who the first suspect is, where did it happen, and what's the question we're trying to answer? Because why did Billy run away is a different question than where did Billy run away to?
Right, 100%.
Okay, so episode mysteries, they tend to be pretty, you keep them kind of low key, right? They tend to not be like giant murder plots or anything like that, but they tend to, kind of be a little bit on the lower end. So any thoughts about what the crime should be? Good one, if you need to fall back on something, is blackmail.
Blackmail is a very good one. I think I'm thinking it through. I think I would like it to be somewhat like if it's, especially if this is kind of a one episode, one shot pilot type deal. I think like a one shot mystery that is personal to us. So something that like is connected to the high school that we attend is probably a good mystery. I'm thinking
Agreed.
maybe it's like either something was shut down under mysterious circumstances. A teacher has been like, a teacher has retired under mysterious circumstances, or something has been burned down.
Let's do burn down.
Burn down
just
is good.
because that's a little bit more. Not that you can't have fun with gray things, but this is just like, okay, something burned down, so it's an arson.
Yeah.
Okay, so who's the main victim of this crime? Again, it doesn't have to be a person. It could be, like, hey, there was. Let's go look at the city and see something with the high school. Is there anything there? All right, you know what? I don't see anything there that would probably help us right now. Oh, you know what? No, right there. So the delinquent had to come up with a question. So we asked questions about our school, which is the Delacroix Collegiate and Vocational School. The mascots, the Spitfires, formerly the Whalers. And so where do people go to avoid the teachers, and what makes it isolated? The cross-country track, right? So it winds through the small woods behind the school with a lot of winding paths, a lot of space carved out to be alone or not seen. What if we say there was like a gathering place there, like someone had made like a shelter?
Oh, I like that. It's like a little bit of like a communal student hangout. It's like like a hollowed out, like the largest tree in the wood, like kind of partially hollowed out and partially a little like creek that kind of dried up and ran underneath. So it's got like a hollowed tree. It's got kind of a dip, like a dip in a dried out river, and it's just like a secluded spot that has been sort of like partially burned down and partially demolished.
Yeah, and we'll call it the Hollow. It had a name.
The Hollow, yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so again, we can answer these in any order that feels kind of like. So the location there is the around turn 4 on the track. That's where to go down the path.
Yeah.
And then So we need the suspect, the first suspect, the client, and the question. Now, here's the thing. A suspect is just their name goes on the list. So basically, there's a sheet that tracks who the suspects are and what clues are associated with them. We can be suspects.
I mean, I feel like the second you said that, I kind of want to put Erica's name on the suspect list.
Done. Let's do it.
Got a bad attitude, got a bad history. It just feels like and that gives us an instant motivation for why I've gathered up the gang and I'm kind of, getting out there to clear this up.
Right, and that makes you the client.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because you're the one bringing the mystery.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the question? Right?
I think the question is, unless you have a thought, I might have a thought.
Go ahead. You go first.
What if it's who is out to get me?
Okay. Well, maybe let's aim it a little bit because you can't be as are you a suspect?
I'm already the suspect and client. Let's aim it a little higher.
Yeah. Well, because are you out to get you? Right. Like that's where it kind of.
Yeah. A good point. Good point.
Easier one is who burned down the hollow.
I like that. Yeah. Let's go. I think that'll be a good like first like one episode question.
Right. And the thing about the game too is when you solve the mystery, right? You get to ask questions at the end of it.
Okay, good. Yeah, that'll be good. That's a good question then.
Yeah, exactly. Like, who's out to get me? That's a good question to ask there, not necessarily a good question to have as the question itself.
I like that.
Okay. All right. So let's go to, now that we have that, and this is a episode mystery. So let's go and start off. So because this is a collaborative, we're going to let you set the first scene, right? And in a collaborative game like this, like I said, it's we'll just kind of play it off each other, play together. But you kind of set the scene, set where we are, set who's there. And if I have any suggestions, I'll ask. I'll say, hey, have you thought about you know how it works?
Yeah.
And but go ahead, set us where we are.
I think we open at third period, which is for Malcolm's class. Third period is gym.
Oh God, yeah, it is.
So we open with a montage of kids at gym doing the stretches, big shot of the baseball field, and
in like the worst uniforms ever.
Oh yeah, terrible uniforms, really awful uniforms. And you're running along the cross country track, right? And we're kind of following you. We're following you. And I think that, like, you see in the wood, like, reflected on some of the trees, and you see flashing lights. And you see it right around turn 4.
Okay. Which sucks because I was totally aiming for a smoke break. And I kind of, like, look, Malcolm looks at Erica, and it kind of, like, gives a little head nod of, like, what's that? Like, what's going on?
I think specifically, I think when that happens, because I think Erica's not there at the start.
Okay.
And I think what happens is, because I'm the client and the suspect, I think, like, you see Erica shortly after you see the lights, but I'm, like, seated on the ground with my hands around my knees as, like, cops are taping off the area.
Right, okay.
Like, I am an active suspect, and they've, like, been grilling me with questions, and I think right as you arrive, they kind of like, a cop finishes taking a statement and is like, all right, get out of here, but if we need you, an officer will come to class and grab you.
All right, so, like, first thing first is I'm like, what the hell just happened?
And immediately, like, you look around and you see that the hollow is, like, the tree has been spray painted, part of it is burnt down, everything is burnt to a crisp. The tree is a hollow husk of what it was, which, considering it was already a hollow husk, is not much. And yeah, like, the whole hollow is just in ruin.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a gumshoe. I'm going to look for information. I'm trying to understand what's going on here. So unfortunately, I'm not good at this. So I'm going to roll my 2 dice, and I'm going to see. I'm at a -1 for eyes. Okay, I'm at a 4. So here is my thing. I get a clue, but we're going to get a cliffhanger.
Okay.
So my clue is just going to put the list of clues here. You know what is a tag? So the way clues work, okay, is that when you get them, they're an abstract thing.
Okay.
So in fact, I'll make it more as like a spray paint tag.
Yeah.
Right? Now, what does that mean? Couldn't tell you until we put it all together and then you apply it to a suspect. So I've gotten a clue that spray paint tag means something. What it means yet, couldn't tell you. Right. So we have a clue now that's a spray paint tag, and so we'll figure out what that means later because now we have another problem. And so the problem is that we've got a cliffhanger, which means it's going to end the scene. And of course, the scene is the principal is there. She doesn't like us to begin with.
Sure.
And the fact that Erica had been utterly, like interrogated by the police, and that I showed up out of somewhere, she just like comes over and is like, "Of course it's you two," and she like grabs us by the arms, and like I'm shocked. So I'm like, one, this is like borderline assault, right?
Sure.
But you're like so shocked you just kind of move along with it.
Sure. Yeah.
And so I we just get pulled along and dragged to the principal's office.
And I think that brings us to our next scene in the principal's office, where I might want to call for a move immediately, because I think like we get the teen equivalent of the interrogation room shot.
Yeah.
Like both of us are in chairs in this cramped principal's office, and she's pacing back and forth, grilling the hell out of us about like why we're here. And
right.
I would like to make a move right now to gumshoe myself.
Sure, go for it.
Because I gumshoe with hard, and I think what is happening is like I am being like loudly obstinate. And she's like, "What were you doing there? Just say what you were doing there." And I'm like, "Unless you've got hard proof that it was us, unless there's some detail that you want to tell us, I'm pretty sure we're allowed to leave."
Right. Okay, go ahead. Make that roll.
All right. That is a 6.
Okay. So here's the thing.
We're not doing great so far.
We're not doing great so far, but you get another clue.
Get another clue.
So what clue do you think you get from this?
The clue that I get from this is... Now,
here's the thing. I'm going to help you out with this one.
Yeah.
Because I don't have necessarily an idea, but someone came up with a fantastic kind of random clue chart. So I want you to roll a d6.
All right, I'm going to roll a d6. I rolled 3.
It's a fact.
It's a fact.
But I'll give you a qualifier. Roll a d6 again.
1.
It's an obviously. Roll another one.
Obviously. 6.
Baffling fact.
Obviously baffling fact. It is, okay, so the obviously baffling fact, that actually kind of points me towards what I wanted it to be. I'm going to put down leather jacket.
Right.
Because I think the evidence is the principal's like, well, your leather jacket was found on the scene. And what's baffling about it is that I am wearing this leather jacket right now. I'm like, I've been wearing this all day. Like, I always wear my leather jacket. And the principal pauses for a moment and is like, well, that's a dress code violation for one, because you're supposed to be wearing your gym uniform in gym class.
I like how it's that pause and then, all right, fine, I'll get you on this instead.
Yeah. But also, like, there was a leather jacket found on scene. And I think what do you think the cliffhanger is?
So the cliffhanger can be, I think we just get in like straight to like a detention kind of situation.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's that thing where they're like, you're in detention. Like it's not, school's not over yet. You're in detention now.
Yeah,
right?
You're in detention. Go to the detention room.
Right? And you're like, but I have class. Fourth period starts in like 10 minutes.
Not for the rest of the day, it doesn't.
Right? And that's the line. It's like, like literally Malcolm's like, I have fourth period and it's English and it's one of my favorite subjects. And it's like, but I have class in like 10 minutes. And that's the line, is not for the rest of the day you don't. And then we end up in detention.
Yeah, and we're just kind of sitting, spinning.
Right. And so like I think we're in that classroom. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take the time to set the scene here now.
Go for it. Yeah.
So we're in the classroom. We're in that. It's all the desks, but like the teachers even kind of like what's going on. Like the one who tends to have detention duty got like pulled out of something to sit down with us to be here,
Mm-hmm.
and he doesn't want to be here either.
Yeah.
Right? He's like, it's not time. I have a class I'm supposed to be teaching, and then like that terrible like like the vice principal's taking it over,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, I hate him. He's the worst. I'd rather if this other teacher, if she was taking it over, but like that kind of like stuff that's happening when someone does something unexpected in power and everyone else is scrambling to try to deal with it.
Yeah.
So like I don't think he's too big on right now like, oh, don't be talking or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of think we're in the back of the classroom, and it's like one of those like, it's like the health classroom,
Yeah.
right? So there's like all those like STI posters on the wall, and like all that like ridiculous abstinence only kind of like stuff you see around,
Mm-hmm.
and like we're quietly making jokes about it.
For sure. 100%. And I think Erica's a little like half distracted as like Malcolm is chuckling about it. Erica's half distracted, like taking notes on a notepad, or like in like a big spiral, like in a big this big plastic binder, that Erica's been carrying around for about like since the summer, since the start of the school year. You've seen her carrying around this big chunky black binder pretty much wherever she goes. She's now taking notes pretty furiously in it. And in the past, you've seen her kind of take these notes idly throughout like the school year, but now she's like actively like writing down details and like drawing things out. And I'm going to bring in another member of my crew here. Because I think I want the three of us to interact.
Right. And now, so here's the thing. Do you have, are you using a move for that, or are you
Yes,
gonna?
I am using me and my crew. When you first appear in a scene, you can have a member of your crew with you. You may bring a second one on if someone else has that member listed on their friend chart.
Which I don't think I do.
I don't believe you do.
Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. So who's there and what are they doing?
Here is. Let's go with Specs Malloy.
Okay.
Specs Malloy, he's a pronouns. Specs is in detention because they what is the most computer nerd thing that they could be in school detention for right now?
I mean, they hacked something on the system. Not necessarily like I hacked the records, but like I made all the computers in the computer lab like make like a just play music, right? Or just something like,
yeah. I think last week a fire alarm went off, or like the fire sprinklers went off, and they figured out that Specs had like hacked into the like the system to trigger the sprinklers without triggering the fire alarm, and they kind of sat back like, yeah, it was genius. It was my best work.
Of course it did. Why wouldn't I take credit for this?
Yeah, they folded the second, like he crumbled the second that they asked him, and he was just like, yeah, this was my masterpiece. Like, why wouldn't I want the world to know this?
Right. Perfect. Okay. So now just some kind of mechanical thing just to be aware of.
Yep.
So you would put probably so in the game,
Mm-hmm.
when you make your character, you have these spots for your other friendships.
Yeah.
And so you only do 2 to start, but you have a certain number of slots. So definitely Specs would fall under your acquaintances.
Yep.
So just put them in there now. That's the kind of interesting thing about there. You just get to put them there.
I like that.
Right. And now we know Specs is part of the story, and you can bring Specs in later. Or what happens is eventually, if you don't use them and another one comes up, you just replace them with a new acquaintance. Right?
I like that. And I think Specs spins their chair around to look at us, and like I think maybe you and Specs are like making jokes, and Erica is just like in her own world.
Mm-hmm. No, 100%. Like that kind of slightly inappropriate joke, but like just kind of like not inappropriate, and like it's like, like if you were in a business setting, this would be an inappropriate joke. But yeah.
And I look up at the two of you and I scoff at and normally like I would be laughing with you, but like I scoff and I go back to my notes and like I'm furiously drawing. And I think like I finally like I look up and I'm like, none of this makes a goddamn bit of like a sense, right?
Well, of course, it's ridiculous. Like, I wouldn't at all be like, this is fine. It is just the principle being ridiculous. Whatever happened at the Hollows is there, and I still haven't had my break, and I'm starting to, get unhappy about that. But they don't let you vape in here because clearly Malcolm vapes
Oh,
because no
Malcolm
one
100%
smokes anymore.
vapes.
But he totally vapes.
Yeah.
Because I'm not showing my age that much. And so yeah, but yeah, he's like, and I can't. I just anyway. So it's fine. It's gonna be okay, right?
No, I'm not. I don't mean like in here. Like, look, this is not my first mid-class detention rodeo. Also, Malcolm, side note, if you ever just want to take a period off, Mr. Johansson is not exactly enthused to be here. Sometimes you could just get in trouble and get a detention.
Like, fair. Yeah, it's gonna be okay. Whatever it is, like honestly, it's gonna be fine. So here's a question: do you want to do something, or because
I think I wanna. I'm trying to decide if I wanna like go for gumshoe or putting it all together here to try and like move the next step of the mystery and like gather like figure something out. You know what I mean?
yeah, go for it. So you're kind of like I said. That's a perfect for Erica. Just rashly, just like it's got to be something.
Yeah.
So roll putting it all together.
Let's do it. I'm rolling +1 for that because I'm rolling with Rash. And also, I realized that I was supposed to do this last time and didn't, which would have changed the entire scene that we're in. But we're fine. We're here now. Because you're my best friend, Malcolm, and you're in this scene. I get +1 and I get +1 to this roll.
Oh, fantastic!
Which would have given us 7 last time, which would have changed the whole scene. And that gives us an 8.
Okay, so you get to place a clue, and then I'll take one of those clues and place it somewhere else.
Okay.
So either the spray paint tag or the leather jacket, you can create a new suspect with it or apply it to a suspect that already exists.
Okay. So I'm placing a new clue here.
Mm-hmm. Well, you don't get a new clue.
Oh, I'm placing one of these clues in one of these spots.
That's right.
I'm going to place it, and I'm not naming the suspect here if I put it under suspect 2.
Oh yeah, you totally named the suspect.
Oh, good.
Remember,
Perfect.
this is where it meets the fiction.
Perfect. So, I love it. Yep. Okay. Got it. Got it exactly. I'm putting leather jacket because I spin around my binder and I like hastily flip through some pages because I'm like, Specs, don't look. And I flip through some pages and I land on a page where I've got like a sketch of the jacket.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, this jacket is not a teenager's jacket. Look, it's not cool. It's like a not cool jacket. And like, everything like I've been going over my head the jacket that was there, and it's not like a cool jacket. It is like it's
an old lady jacket. Is that what you're trying to say?
It's like an old dude jacket. It's like an old dude, like, military jacket. And, like, but it's like, we've all been around military guys, right? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
We all know this is not like a jacket that someone got. This is a jacket that someone bought. Mm-hmm. And, like, I've got this, like, annotated sketch of a jacket, and it's got little marks of scratches, like, and it's, like, circled with, like, pre-faded or like manufactured scratching, and I'm like, somebody bought this jacket, and if anybody is going to buy this jacket, I'm pretty sure I gotta think of a name. Hugo Ashworth.
We'll
go Hugo Ashworth. And I think this is when we get like the montage shot of Hugo.
Yeah.
Hugo's wearing, the finest brand new faux worn leather jacket, big aviator sunglasses. Hugo is peak tech money, new to town, clearly like trying to look trying to look like the coolest possible local kid, right? So like, you know, like he's got just a bomber jacket because he's noticed a lot of kids in town because their military families have like camo jackets and bomber jackets, but like this one is like tailored and it's got fur lining. Got the aviator sunglasses, but they're clearly like designer aviator sunglasses.
Yeah, these thin pieces of metal are $600, right?
Yeah, exactly. And like Hugo is peak like I like hello fellow kids, I am one of you.
Okay, so here's the thing though. I get to take that spray paint tag
Yep.
and give it to someone else, but
All
I
right.
think I'm giving it to Erica because
Okay.
here is why. What happens is, of course, as you're flipping through the book, right?
Mm-hmm.
What happens is that I'm there a lot. I know all those tags, right?
Mm-hmm.
Again, you know, it's where the Hollow is where Malcolm hangs out a lot.
Yeah.
And that tag that I saw was a new one. And as Erica was flipping through her book,
Dang.
there's the tag.
Yep. 100%. Love it. And I think like, what do you do when you see that?
And my eyes kind of widen a little bit. Like Malcolm's eyes just kind of gets a little bit bigger, but he doesn't say anything, right? Like he doesn't, even if it's a clue against Erica, that's not enough to actually, you know, convince him. It's just, it's a weird coincidence now.
Yeah, right. I think I slam shut the binder and I'm like, so, you know what we gotta do? We gotta go confront Hugo, right?
I mean, I'm down for that just so I could probably punch him in his smug face.
Yeah, right. Here's the thing: where do we think where do we think we can get him? Specs. Hack his schedule. Do your thing that you do. Do it now. Do it now.
You know that kind of sigh an artist gives when like you're like I'm unappreciated because you're just like paint me a picture.
And I've grabbed a pencil and I am jabbing him in the arm. Like I'm jabbing them in the arm with a pencil. I'd like to roll Gumshoe being hard here by bullying a friend of mine.
Sure, go for it.
That is I believe a 10.
Okay,
That is a
10 on a
10.
Gumshoe. You can bank 2 clues and ask 1 question of the situation.
The clues I'm going to bank. I'm going to bank Hugo's schedule.
So it's not Hugo's schedule, it's a schedule.
A schedule. I'm gonna bank a schedule. I'm gonna bank a schedule of events.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna bank, and I'm gonna drop in also. I'm gonna drop in also a grudge. I'm gonna drop in a grudge, and a schedule of events. And the question that I want to ask is, I want to ask. I'm gonna get myself in trouble here because it's fun. It's fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun to be in trouble. What would Erica stand to gain from burning down the Hollow?
It's a good question. What would Erica stand to gain from burning down the Hollow?
Actually, I'm gonna broaden this question a little bit and let you take it in whatever direction you want to take it. What is to be gained by burning down the Hollow?
You know what? It redirects the students.
Okay. Yep. That's good. I really like that.
Right? Because it puts the students somewhere else and they're not hanging out there, and maybe someone has a plan for a new placement. Maybe, you know, who knows?
Then
we'll see.
Then in that case, I might ask to rewrite this. Instead
Sure.
of writing a grudge, write a redirection.
Done.
Yeah. That redirection might point us in the direction of who did this.
Right?
So where do we go next?
Well, I think right now there's no cliffhanger, so I think we just kind of spend the rest of the day, you know. I think God, do we say the name of the teacher who's the
Mr. Johansson?
Yeah, Mr. Johansson. I think Mr. Johansson thinks this is also crap, so like he lets Malcolm sneak out to vape for a little bit. We're all, it's like, have a good time.
Yeah.
We're not, yeah, it's more and 2 hours of enforced hanging out than it is, you know, actual detention.
I love it. I love it a ton.
Okay, so I set that scene. So now we don't have a cliffhanger to deal with. What's the next scene? What do you want to set it?
I think the scene's got to be. I think the scene is. I'm gonna throw a wrench in it because of my move when I appear in a scene. Yeah, because of my move, me and my crew, when I appear in a scene, I can have a member of the crew with me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna make a scene where you and I are. Well, I'm gonna ask you. Like, I am going to chase down and confront Hugo when I am interrupted by my hated rival, because I want to reveal a little bit of what's been going on with Erica and also introduce my rival because I love him.
Go for it.
Is Malcolm here as well? Like, are you coming with?
Oh, we're hanging out afterwards,
Okay.
right? Like we're best friends. So again, to everyone knows, there's actually a best friend mechanic, and so to make it easier, Erica and Malcolm are best friends. Yeah, 100%. Malcolm's hanging out. He's got nowhere to go.
And so I think like we're on the way when out from like around a corner, like peak high school hallway scene where we're going and somebody just turns around a corner from like the little outcropping where the bathroom is. Out pops a kid a little bit younger than you and I, wearing a tailored two-piece black suit and like a dark red shirt with a black tie, hair slicked back, and like tinted fingers.
That's awesome. Okay, can we also make an enemy move here?
Yes, please.
Perfect. Okay, so again, with your friends, you have enemies, rivals, acquaintances, and good friends. And so just to let people know, the mechanic is that so you roll 2d6 plus, depending on the number of them that you have. So the fewer you have, so at 1 you get, I believe it's +3. But the more you have, the lower that number goes to a minimum of +0. You never get negatives, but you know.
So I've got 3 enemies, so I am rolling a 0?
No, you only have 1 listed.
Oh, I have 1 listed, so I'm rolling a +2. Got it.
Yes.
Okay. That is a 5, 6, 7, 8.
So you choose a bonus at +1 forward and a situation. So if you try to confront them about something they've done, if you try to attack them physically, emotionally, or socially, if you try to interrupt their immediate plans or try to turn people against them, you get a +1 forward. But they start an altercation. They get you or someone you care about in trouble. They will remove a clue on the suspect with the most clues. They embarrass you in public, offer you a very temporary truce, reveal something humanizing about themselves, or you'll have an emotional moment and change your relationship.
I would, I was so ready to, oh gosh, read me those options one more time.
No problem. So the situations are, they start an altercation. They get you or someone you care about in trouble. They will remove a clue on the suspect with the most clues. They embarrass you in public. They offer a very temporary truce. They reveal something humanizing about themselves, or you'll have an emotional moment and change the nature of your relationship.
Oh, he's gonna embarrass me in public. he's gonna reveal to the school that I am suspected in burning down the Hollow. Preston spins the corner, tented hands. Well, if it is not the arson of the Hollow.
Everyone's looking around, and Malcolm's even like, oh, look, really, guy? We're going to do this right now?
And
Preston.
It is Blade Shadow to you, mortal.
Preston.
Erica is white-knuckled clutching her black binder as Preston leans in and is like, oh, it's a shame that it's only a matter of time before you're carted off to police, but we always kind of knew that was going to happen, and when it happens, Erica, all that you have built this summer, these new alliances, this new crew of yours, they will be mine, and they will come under the shadow of the vampires. And then, like, slowly backs away, but runs into somebody as he does so. Like, tries to do the mysterious, like, fade away into the shadows, but runs into somebody.
That's hilarious. What does Erica do? Because Erica still gets a bonus if you try to do one of those 4 things.
Oh, gosh. I have to think about this for a moment.
Because you can confront them about something they've done.
I think that I want to do that. I think it's gonna further embarrass me socially. This is just adding to the social embarrassment. And
Okay.
I'm gonna step up and say, I think Erica hands the binder to you,
Mm-hmm.
which there's a lot of drama there because you know what's in that binder. Or that
Malcolm's
marker's...
holding it like it's on fire.
Yeah, I hand the
Right?
binder
You're
to
like,
you.
I don't want this. Why did you give this to me?
And I'm cracking my knuckles, and I'm like, no, Preston, it won't be yours. It will not be yours. And you know why? Because you were banned from the Wizard's Workshop because you decided to throw a tantrum. You broke several $100s of merchandise. Yeah, they've told me all about it. There's a reason that they don't run Vampire the Masquerade at that store anymore. There's a reason that you're not welcome there anymore. And let me tell you something. If you step foot anywhere near my game crew, I promise you, you will be spitting out 4-sided dice for weeks. Is that understood?
Fight.
Yep.
That's awesome. Okay, let's roll fight. Yeah, I think I think Erica even pushes him.
Oh yeah.
Because Erica fights with body.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've grabbed the lapels of his jacket and I'm holding him against a wall now.
Okay.
Oh, that is beautiful. That is an 8. That is, I believe, a 10. That is a 10.
Okay. So
No, that is a 9. So that is a 9.
Okay. So you give them a condition of one type, but they choose one. Someone, or so in this case, the rest of the table would, because it's an NPC.
Mm-hmm.
Someone becomes a worse friend. They get one clue from you. They give you one condition of one type, or they give you a cliffhanger.
I'm going to have them give me a cliffhanger.
See, I was going to say because
go for it. Yeah, if it's you
one.
you're choosing because this is an NPC, so go for it.
Yeah, and so what happens is that Erica is going to get a condition.
Okay,
it's going to be a social condition because we also know that Preston is a lot younger.
Yeah,
and so while it looks like what's going to happen is that Erica is going to do that instead. As your best friend, if you get into trouble or gain a condition, I can take that trouble or condition on myself.
Okay.
So Erica's going to go actually to like throw a punch, and Malcolm stops her.
Mm-hmm.
And Preston gets like that smug look on his face, like I did something that I was going to suffer repercussions for.
Yeah.
And then I didn't. So now I get to be like a double asshole about it.
Oh, I hate it. I hate it so much.
Yeah. But then Malcolm turns out and just open hand slaps him across the face.
I love it. I love it a lot.
And it's like, you little shit. If I see your face around here, I will do double that. And every time I see you again, it will just increase every single time. And I think at that point in time, he kind of goes off. But Malcolm gets a condition, a social condition. He's seen as a bully.
Ooh.
Okay, so I take that. So that means I get, I get 1 XP for doing that. But I can't do that anymore. I can only do it once per episode.
All right.
But here's the thing. Let's make it even better. I'm going to use my other move called What's So Great About Living. When I get a condition, I can gain another condition to bank 1 clue or gain 1 XP. So does Preston have any family in the school?
Absolutely. He is from an old money family.
Right. Okay. So I just slapped an old money family kid in the face.
Mm-hmm.
Older brother, probably on the football team.
Oh, for sure.
Right? Was also in the hallway. It starts a fight. I get my ass kicked.
Oh, yeah. I think I get held back by other members of the football team.
Oh yeah, yeah, and like I pretend I'm actually going to turn this into a fight. It's not going to be a fight. It's not going to be anything resembling a fair fight. I get my ass kicked. Um,
So that means I gain 1 XP because something has happened to you because you're my best friend.
right. See, it's the circle. We just kind of
Circle.
created a seed and we all gain a bunch of stuff. But I'm not going to gain an XP. I'm going to gain a clue. Okay.
All right.
And the clue is, I'm going to randomly roll for it. Actually, do you want to roll for me just because you have dice there and roll?
Yeah,
for,
absolutely.
Yeah.
That is a 7.
No.
Or 5 and 2.
1 die.
Oh, 5.
A 5 and a 2. So it's potentially illegal. Roll one more.
One more?
Yeah.
3.
A potentially illegal fact. You know what? It's a potentially illegal fact. I'm going to put something drug related.
Mm-hmm.
You know what?
There were drug deals happening in the Hollow.
Well,
or is a drug
yeah.
deal?
Yeah, drug deal. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So I guess that's what happened to us as we go, and I think as the football players leave, and I'm like, that slumped Malcolm slumped against the wall and kind of like eyes shut and clearly going to have a black eye and like nose is very bleeding, and is like, ow.
I slump down next to you. I slump down next to you, and I'm like pounding a wall. And like, I should have stepped up. I could have thrown elbows back, and I could have done the thing.
And you would have got your ass kicked too. And so it only happened to one of us, which is fine. I'll be okay.
It should have happened
broken.
to both of us, though. It's one for all.
I get it. But also, I also got the benefit of slapping that little smug shit's face.
And do you know how jealous I am that you got that and I didn't?
Everyone thinks the worst of me anyway, so come on, let's go.
All right, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, again, Malcolm walks, he's sore, he's going to be okay. He's got a little bit of a limp, and clearly, it's mostly,
Erica's face softens for a moment, and like there's like a split. Like you go to kind of limp and put the pressure on one side, and Erica is already like rushed over, and is supporting you and kind of lifting you up, and she's like, they taught me it. Dad taught me you never let a soldier walk home wounded.
Well. Happy to be with you in the trenches, soldier. Let's go.
She throws. I think I'm trying to open up right now.
Oh, go for it. Yeah.
I throw you this like camaraderie smile to be like, we're soldiers in the trenches together.
Perfect.
That is a 7.
Awesome. Okay, so with a 7. Choose one from the first list and one from the second list.
All right.
So the first list is, so you comfort me and I remove a condition. Since I'm a PC, I listen to you and you can ask me to do what you want, and if I choose to do it, I get an XP. We understand each other and become better friends, or we work something out and bank a clue.
I'm not gonna take away a condition. Not yet.
Okay.
I think I want to work something out with you and bank a clue.
Okay. All right. So what would the clue be?
I think the clue is a. I put it on earlier and then took it off, and now it feels like we've got much more stuff pointing towards a grudge being on the clue list.
Okay.
I feel like we've introduced a lot more stuff, a lot more opportunities in that scene for grudges to come up in a very big way.
Right.
And I think like we're walking, and I think what it represents here is like us walking, and like I load you into my car. What's my dad's car? But he lets me drive it.
It's your car. It's your car.
It's my car. It's basically my car. It'll be my car when I'm 18. I load you into the car, and I'm driving you home, and we're just like sharing stories of the various times that we have pissed people off in the school. Like it is sort of a mutual sharing of like, oh, was that Ryan? Oh, motherfucker has wanted me taken out for ages.
Right? Oh yeah, and his breath was terrible.
Oh,
Can't
it's
believe.
terrible. I told him that once. I told him his breath was bad once, and did not take well to it.
No, I don't think he would. I'm pretty sure you didn't just politely say, perhaps here's a breath mint. You probably told him flat out that he stinks.
Well, I did offer him a breath mint, but it was more like I opened a thing of Tic Tacs and threw them all in his face. It was not my best moment. It was not my most creative moment.
Wasn't subtle. No.
Not at all.
Oh, and I mentioned the time we've, like not this time, but the last time we pissed off Principal Gallagher, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like she, do you remember that? Remember the incident with the paint?
We said we would never speak of that again. We made a pact.
Yes, but there's just the two of us, and there's no one else here.
I will temporarily lift the terms of the pact.
Right? And so, yeah, that's the conversation all the way to where we're going next. So, you know what? It's technically I think it's my scene.
I think it is your scene, yep.
And I think we're going to let's go look at Chaplain's Peak.
Let's do it.
Okay. Let's go look at. So it's clearly a neon alley.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that we did prior to this is we just had built the city, and one of the questions you ask is, what do you call where the rich people live and what makes it excessive? So that's Neon Alley. It's basically where all the tech bros moved in, and they put all this new tech on these old buildings, and it just looks absolutely garish.
Yeah.
But it's the future. So so like there's like a coffee shop that, because we looked at his, like, we got specs, we know where he's going to be. And so we walk into this coffee shop, and again, like, Malcolm is beat up looking.
Yeah.
The nose has stopped bleeding, but it's, that black eye is starting to swell. So he can't even start to see out of that left eye.
Yeah.
And he's still got a bit of a limp. And so he walks in, and I think Erica's a little bit behind him. And he's like, I'll get some coffee. And the place is like all wood. And it's all like, actually, no, it's the future thing. It's all like chrome.
Oh, God, yeah. It's hideous.
Right? Everything is all like metal. Like, there's like, when you sit down on a chair, it's like, it's supposed to be like, it's been molded perfectly, but it's like built for not a person.
Yeah.
And so it's like a metal chair with no give.
Yep.
Right? And so Malcolm goes to get some coffee because he's like, I need something. And goes off to the bar there to get it. What does Erica do?
Erica sits for a bit, and I think I'm gonna roll. I think Erica sits for a bit, spins around, like spends a minute, like opens up her binder, and is like, oh, you know what? This is a cool. I'm gonna write down wizard. Let's see, wizards, chrome wizards, the chrome wizards consortium. That's cool. And like, I pause midway through writing down this little note in my binder to look up and be like, and I see somebody, and I think, like, as Malcolm is starting to turn around, I'm already getting up to walk over to confront them. I'm trying to put a mystery together here.
Okay.
I'm just diving right into it, right? Peak rash of like I see somebody and I'm going for it.
Yep.
And that is 10, 11. That is 11.
Okay, so you can place either 2 clues on a single suspect path, or you can split the 2 clues between 2 different suspects.
I'm gonna make a new suspect and put 2 clues on it.
Perfect.
And I am partially because I'm looking at our list, and there's some people that I want to bring in. I'm gonna bring in. Trying to think what's a cool first name. I'm gonna go the opposite direction and go Byron.
Mm.
Byron Track. Byron Track. Byron is the eldest son of the Track family. The Track family is like the big tech family in Chaplin's Peak. Like they are the ones that kind of got big.
Yeah.
It's a name change, obviously, but they basically like invented a car selling app, and they have like there's the big construction happening in town that is like the centerpiece of the town is sort of reshaping around this hideous, not quite Carvana car vending machine contraption that is like garish and large and is like overtaking huge amounts of it. And Byron Track is the eldest son of the Track family. And I slide into his booth. He is sitting by himself, and I'm like, "Hey, so weren't you supposed to meet Hugo? Weren't you supposed to meet Hugo like after sixth period? Don't the two of you meet because you have seventh period English together? Isn't that a thing that the two of you have together? Is seventh period English?" And I like slide out the schedule that Specs has printed out that has not only like names of students that are in various classes, and I just pull this out and I'm like, "Weren't you going to sit together?" And yeah, right, yeah, because you've been. Oh, right, yeah, why? Oh, that's why you're such good friends, because you run drug deals together, right? That's you, right? You're that Byron, right? That's the hookup for, yeah, that's you, right? That's you?
Right, because like he had it on the table, right? It wasn't
Yeah.
like he was like hiding it. Again, he's super wealthy. His dad like basically came in and like owned half the town or a bunch of the town. So yeah, why would he hide?
And so I just slide in and I start peppering him with these very leading questions with no subtlety, no chill.
He's just kind of like, what are you doing? What the hell's going on? Like, he starts to pack up, right? Because he's like, what are you doing? And so I think Malcolm sees this and kind of like slides in next to him, and he's like, I thought I could, perhaps I'm here to, actually buy something. Aren't we?
You're right.
Erica?
Yeah, you're right. I'm coming in hot. I'm not a chill buyer of things, so I'm coming in a little hot. And I give just the shit-eatingest grin.
Right. And I think again, right now he's kind of okay, sure. And I think what Malcolm's going to do is he's going to just talk. He's going to be like, yeah, absolutely. I think he's going to try to also put it all together.
Mm-hmm. I think that works here, especially because you're very obviously like intimidating him. You've kind of cornered him. He's trapped, so you're very obviously kind of like, it makes sense to be using that kind of body here as terms of like you are making it impossible to not get answers in this moment.
Right. So I got 8.
Okay.
And so I think that's 10, but -1 because I think it's hard to be intimidating when you got your ass kicked.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm at a 9. So I get to place one of those clues. And I think what I'm placing is a grudge actually on Erica.
I like this. I really like this.
Because that was a little hot, even for Erica. Right? Like that was even a little bit like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And you get to decide where the other clue goes.
A redirection.
So you were allowed to have 4 suspects in a episode mystery, 5 in a personal, 6 in a season. So if you want to make another suspect, you can.
I think I don't want to, and I think I'm debating which of us I think I want it to be more.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm gonna put it on Erica. I'm putting it on myself. Living the dream. Live fast. Live fast, die hard. I think as we're kind of go talk it through, or do you want me to talk this part through?
Yeah, talk it through.
Because I think what happens is like you're kind of getting these answers from Byron, right? And like we kind of start grilling him together a little bit, doing kind of a tag team thing. But you start to realize that like my questions are getting more and more pointed around trying to either lead him to confess or implying that I'm going to expose him and Hugo, and like trying to pointedly be like, get the hell, like get out of town or keep your goddamn head low.
Right. And then like it's that thing where Malcolm's just kind of like, yeah, and then like, Eric will say something and he'll just kind of look over. And then he'll be like, yeah, and then Eric will say something else and he'll be like, wait, and then you'll notice like as the conversation goes, he's spending more and more time looking at Erica than he is looking at Byron. And he eventually at a point in time he's like, yeah, Byron here, and he gives him like a little bit. He's like, just I need something a little bit, and then like we'll buy the cheapest thing that he has just to get him out of there.
I like that a whole lot.
And so I think that's the end of that scene. But this scene is that Malcolm in this coffee shop turns to Erica and says, I got you, right? Like I have your back. I have, does that whole kind of preemptive speech of, I've got you, right?
Yeah, of course. And we're gonna take these guys down.
Right. And so I'm gonna see. All right, so I'm gonna open up.
Okay.
And Malcolm's gonna be like, and it's hard. And he basically says, and he turns to me and says, but you're acting like you're guilty, right? Everything you've done here is so not like you, right? You're smart. You're intuitive. You know things. You understand stuff, and you've been acting like you are desperate to find something that isn't you. I believe it's not you, but you got to work with me here. And so I will roll, and I think that's a +2. No, it's do a +1 for me for hard. That's a 10.
Okay.
So I can choose 1 and or choose 2. And I will say, okay, so I'm going to choose, we work something out and bank a clue.
Okay.
I want to take another one. 2 from the first list. I think I need to clarify that, whether or not we can cut this part out. I think I need to clarify it, whether or not you can take the same thing twice. I think we should.
Oh, it says you can choose the same thing twice.
Oh, I did. If I could read. So we're going to work out 2 clues. And you're going to tell me what you want from me.
What do we want our clues to be?
Let's roll it.
Let's do it.
Okay. So 3d6.
3d6. You got it.
And then just give me the numbers on the dice.
Yep. 414.
Potentially dangerous observation.
A potentially dangerous observation. A loaded gun.
Okay. Let's do the next one.
The next one is 164.
An obviously baffling observation. An unexpected bruise.
Yep, love it. And what I want from you. What I want from you is to take over when I'm not around.
Wow. Okay, first off, he's like, 1, why are you ever not going to be around? And 2, he's basically there's that like that hushed, angry conversation in that kind of thing. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what do you mean when you're not around? What the hell is this bullshit?
Look, look, if something happens to me, look, the kid had a meltdown. The kid had a meltdown over rules at a game store. I don't want him bossing around my little brother and his friends.
Okay, look, I will let nothing happen to Reggie. Reggie is like my own flesh and blood.
And I appreciate that. I just, Do I love playing games with my little brother and his friends? Absolutely. I enjoy them a lot. The binder, I think, is pretty sufficient evidence of that. But
Yes.
do I also do it because I can keep an eye on some kids that I think are likely to get in trouble if I'm not around? Absolutely. And that's really what I need you to do if something were to happen to me.
Okay. I will do that. But nothing is going to happen to you. And I think that's where the conversation ends.
Yeah.
They absolutely will do it, but like Erica seems very clearly aware that something could happen to her,
Mm-hmm.
and Malcolm's very readily denying that this is that's kind of like ridiculous.
Yeah. Which means I think it's my scene next.
It is.
And I think my scene is I think I come home. I am driving home. I'm gonna put us together. I think I'm driving you home from the coffee shop.
Yes.
I think we leave Neon Alley. We drive into the rig, which is sort of the area where the poor people live. It's by where the oil refinery is. It's where the older industrial buildings are. We drive into the rig, and I stop, and I stop outside of a park. Like I park kind of in a hurry, and I'm looking out a window, and I'm using my move. I'm using my me and my gang move. Wait, let me confirm that's the name. Is that the name of it? Did I get it right? Pretty sure I did. Yeah. I'm using my crew. Using my me and my crew move to introduce another player on the scene. I am introducing my good friend Reggie, my younger brother, who is our collective younger brother. And I think I see Reggie hanging around. I see Reggie like meeting with Hugo and Byron. And I like park the car, and I'm like, well, this ain't gonna happen.
Wow. I did not expect that. Damn. I'm guessing you dropped me off already.
I'm not sure I did. I think I like it more if you're here because
Malcolm's there.
I think I like it more if you're here because I think I like the idea that like you like are completely like this was not at all part of the plan, right? Like, we're halfway to your house.
Yeah.
And I just like pull up and I just like I'm like hold on, and I park the car kind of in a hurry, like in a parking lot next to a basketball court, and I like climb out. And I'm like, no, hold on. We got to talk to these two.
Okay. All right. I like no hesitation, right? Because he just knows what he bought from Byron,
mm-hmm.
and he sees both Byron and Hugo talking to Reggie. No. I will gladly take another ass kicking. Notice I didn't say deliver. Mm-hmm. Take another ass kicking to stop that from happening.
And I climb out, and I think this starts out as just fight.
Sure, absolutely. You should go in there, guns blazing.
Guns blazing. Which is 1 + 1 because you're here, which gives me a +2 total. Which puts me exactly at 10.
Nice. See? Happy to be here.
Happy to have you here. This is what friends do.
Right. So you can give them 2 conditions of one type, or give them 1 condition on 2 different types, and get a clue from them.
I'm gonna give them.
Oh, sorry, my fault. It's either you give them 2 conditions of one type, give them 1 condition of 2 different types, or get a clue from them.
I'm gonna get a clue from them.
Okay.
I'm gonna get a clue from them, and that clue is going to be that clue is a business opportunity. Because I think like this is the tracks don't hang around here, right? Like the tracks don't hang around here. This is not where the tracks and the Ashworths of the town like hang around. which I think is as much a reason to beat their ass as anything. And like, I'm like, you pedal your shit around Neon Alley. Reggie, go wait in the car.
Reggie's like, but they said, and like, I think that gives Erica another like moment to like, get in the car.
Get in the, I throw him the look, and he just head down runs to the car.
Yup.
Not a word. What does Malcolm do here?
Malcolm, basically, I think he's just following Erica's lead right now. He just kind of is trying to stand behind her, like, yeah, she's got backup, even slightly injured and hurt backup.
I might call that. I might say that here I'm going to give you the option of either you doing a gumshoe or put it all together, because of your approaches. I think you kind of hovering in that way is going to let you do one of those two things.
Let's put it all together.
Let's do it.
That is a 9. So putting it all together. So here is a thing. I'm going to bring in another, because at 9 I get to put one and you get to put one.
Yeah. Okay.
So the one I'm going to put down is I'm going to create a new suspect, our 4th suspect, Police Chief Gibson. And I say that because as we did our city, he basically anything that isn't dangerous or controlled by the city that isn't under his thumb, he wants to get rid of it.
Yeah.
So this, I see like a police cruiser parked further back, and I realize this is a business opportunity. And noticing how they don't seem to be too worried about peddling drugs to kids in the rig with a cop right there. I'm thinking this is a little bit higher than Byron or Hugo.
I like that. I like that a lot. I'm also going to add that. That means I'm also going to put a clue here. I think what happens is, I think even before we, like, throw the first hand, right? Before, like, the first hand is thrown here, right? Like, we roll up, you're hovering in the background, I'm, like, cracking my knuckles. I think, I'm assigning the clue a loaded gun, but I think it's that, I think Hugo, like, straight up pulls the gun. Just straight up is like, no,
oh, Jesus,
don't
okay.
even. And, like, we both, like, pause. But I think, like, both of our eyes drift to the cruiser. And we're like, you are pointing a gun at people?
And, like, nothing happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing happens, right?
And yeah, I think the cruiser, like is just parked there sitting, and we're, like, there's kind of this moment where, like, both of our eyes kind of go to the cruiser and give a look of, like, well? And it's just nothing.
Are you going to do anything?
Yeah, what's going on here?
Okay.
Great.
Oh yeah, no, that's yeah. I think we back off then, because
yeah. Like once the gun is pulled, Reggie's in the car. I'm like, you stay in Neon Alley, and I, like, walk back, kind of hands raised, half hands raised in a, like, don't shoot me way, and half hands raised in a I'm not even dealing with this kind of way. Like, I'm out of here.
Right, and Malcolm follows suit.
I think I drop off. I think I drop off Malcolm, and, like, it's you, me, and Reggie, like, sitting in front of your house.
Oh no, we're inside.
Oh yeah,
this is like milk and cookies kind of time, right? Because, I mean, for Reggie, for us, it's going to be like,
I have cracked a beer from the fridge.
Yeah, I didn't, just because Mom would notice 2 beers missing.
Fair. I'm like, I will replace it. It's fine. We have an agreement.
No. The key thing is that, like, also he goes for painkillers, and he doesn't necessarily wash it down with some beer.
Sure.
And
fair. That's fair. That's responsible.
He's sitting there, and it's
steak on the
table,
face.
Like, it's basically like the kitchen is that, like, 70s mint green still.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, like, it's that mint green, and, like, the countertop is all chipped, and then, like, a speckled white kind of thing, and the all the cupboards are like this weird fake wood. The not even the melamine or like the thing. It's just it doesn't look real, and you could tell, but everyone thought it was cool in like the 70s. And
I like it.
Yeah, and so
I'm gonna roll good friend here because I have brought a good friend into the scene.
you have.
So I'm gonna roll plus good friend, which is +1. I've got one good friend. That is a 7. So on a 7 to 9, I'm gonna get +1 forward in one situation. The situation is take on their problem as your own. They will make themselves a suspect. They will move a clue from a path onto themselves. They will create a new problem for the both of you, make a problem they had worse, or have a misunderstanding. I'm going to say I think I am taking on their problem as my own here. That feels right. Like I am taking on I have caught my younger brother attempting to buy drugs. Like this is my beef now.
Right. Okay. And what are you gonna take your bonus for?
I'm taking my bonus for. I'm gonna take a bonus for. Is it for a specific move or for like more of a general scenario?
More for a general scenario.
I'm gonna take it for protecting Reggie. I'm gonna take it for protecting Reggie.
Here are the bonuses because all the moves have a bonus.
Right. Oh, there's a list of bonuses. Right. Yes. Correct. Got it.
Right. So if you notice they're having a problem, if you defend them from an authority figure, if you help them with a personal problem, create a fun event with them, or talk about your feelings.
Defend them from an authority figure. You're not getting in trouble here, and I think that's the first thing I say to Reggie. I'm like, look. What's the 17th thing Dad taught us? And Reggie pauses for a moment, runs some numbers in his head. Don't be a rat. You got it, kid.
I love how it's don't be a rat.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's
what he taught us. It was number 17 on the list. And I think we give Reggie some cookies and milk and kind of plop down around the couch. He's kind of over our shoulder, eating, and Erica leans over to Malcolm. So what do you think?
I don't know. I think this has turned into something completely different, right? Like this has turned into, I don't. It's so like, look, I'm all for running headlong into trouble, and I don't feel like I'm going to stop running into this. It was just a bigger hole than I expected it.
Yeah, no, that's about what I'm thinking too. I didn't think it would get to this point.
I have an idea though.
Yeah, hit me.
So I'm gonna call up on the phone. I'm gonna bring in an acquaintance.
Okay.
I'm gonna roll my acquaintance because Malcolm has as an acquaintance Julie Chu, that reporter kid who got me out of permanent detention.
Yes.
Right, for the paint incident.
Yep.
Which we will not speak of again.
We will not speak of again. Not while there are witnesses.
Right. No, there are witnesses, right. And so she's probably going to be super interested in exposing something.
Mm-hmm.
So since I only have one, that's going to be a +2. Ooh, I got a 6.
Ooh.
So you know what? Here's what happens. Flat out, I call Julie, and Julie hangs up on me because I'm a bully.
Yep. Love it.
I slap that kid, and I'm like, well, there goes that. And in fact, I think I would take Julie off of my acquaintances list.
I like that.
Okay. I don't have any friends, and I just keep losing them left, right, and center.
So here's a question for you, Jonathan Designer.
Mm-hmm.
What is the mechanic towards like answering the grand question? If we have a thought on the answer to the grand question.
Well, what would normally happen is once you get basically it's number of players, plus a certain number. I have to look up the rules exactly. It's not off the top of my head. It's been a little while. But once there's enough clues in a suspect, they're the one that did it.
Okay.
So what happens though is that once you're done that though, you get to ask questions about the mystery. And so, for instance, when you solve an episode mystery, it's like, who else was? And you get to ask questions equal to the number of suspects. So the more suspects you have, the more questions you get to ask. So the first question you always get to ask right off the gate is, did solving the case help the client? And then it's, who else was affected by the resolution of the case? How does this tie into your personal mystery or season mystery? Who suffered the most because of what was revealed? How did you personally benefit from it being resolved? What enemy did you make? And what doesn't feel right about this case?
I love it. I would love to potentially put aside one more clue and possibly reveal the one.
Sure, go for it.
Because I think I've got a rash way to... I'm going to roll the dice first, but I think I have a rash way to assign a clue and reveal the one.
All right.
That is an 8.
Yep, so you get to put the one clue that we have, you get to put it on someone.
I'm putting it on the only place that it makes sense. I think
you
Erica
have an unexpected bruise.
I think Erica takes off her jacket and is kind of like finally like letting her guard down a little bit, like relaxing and being like, it wasn't supposed to go this way, you know? Like but like when she takes off the jacket, I think there's like a particular bruise on her arm.
Right.
That like is I think there's a flashback that maybe Malcolm has of like remembering basically like of getting a very similar bruise because like you like there's like a particular branch on it's like a bruise on her like shoulder that's like a particular branch that if you don't duck at the right time in the hollow at night, like you'd miss it. And
it's a little extrusion. It's like someone didn't hack it off properly, and so you run it.
Yeah, and it's this that would only be there that like if you're it's in the daytime, like you see it and you know to move around it, but like if you're navigating it at night, particularly like if at a time when you're trying not to be seen in the hollow, like that's when it kind of hits you. And it's like it's like that same spot, right? Like it's the telltale spot for somebody that was creeping around the hollow at night.
Yeah, exactly.
So what does Malcolm do when you see this?
I think he just kind of goes, oh no. And then like goes and gives like Erica a huge hug.
And I think that's what it takes for her to like break down and cry, right? Like that's when the tears come after everything that has happened. Like that is when the tears come. And I think that is when we find the answer to the question of who burned down the hollow.
Yeah.
Because I think it was a redirection. It was, she didn't want this drug deal happening where she didn't want drug deals happening where like her friends hung out, right? Yeah. Like she was getting
and
them.
Her little brother
and his friends. It was always about protecting these younger kids. And it seems to have like her doing that seems to have escalated it where now the cops are involved and they're trying to hone in on this and they're trying to take control of the drug game. And it's spiraled out of control.
That's fantastic. So let's ask the questions.
Did
solving the case really help the client?
I'm going to throw you a curveball. I think it's yes.
I know. I was going to say yes too.
Okay, good. I'm glad because I think
that emotional release is what did it.
It's that the answer has come out and it means that she doesn't have to hide from her best friend.
Yes. Right?
Yep.
So again, let's talk about we got 3 other questions. Mm-hmm. So who else was affected by the resolution of this case? How did the mystery tie into? We don't need to do that one because that's a personal season mystery. Who suffered the most because of what was revealed? How did you personally benefit from the mystery being solved? What enemy did you make after solving the case? Oh, I think that's one right there. And, yeah, we totally made enemies, and I'm going to add that to my.
I'm going to add that to mine as well.
Yeah, that's it's totally Byron Track.
Yeah, Byron Track is our enemy.
Oh yeah, no, he hates us. What doesn't feel right about the case?
If the cops were trying to take control of everything, if the cops were letting this play out so that they could put things under their thumb.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't, like, they didn't act? And, like, that seemed like, I mean, you know, pun fully intended, there was a smoking gun. If the cops wanted to shut things down, which is what we know of Police Chief Gibson, is that he wants to shut down anything he's not benefiting from, that would have been the moment to shut that down. Right? Like, that would have been the moment. When a kid has drawn a gun on another kid and a drug deal out in the open, like, that would have been the moment to shut it down, and yet that has not happened.
Yep.
Which tells me something else is going on when the police are involved.
Oh, and there's one other question. What else happens?
What else happens? I'm gonna take this question and answer it with a question.
Mm-hmm.
Does Malcolm tell anyone?
No, hell no.
Good answer. Soldier doesn't leave anybody behind. I think what else happens is, I think Preston goes home. And, like, Preston goes home to his cronies, one of whom is, let me go to Chaplain real quick. One of whom is Llewellyn Ladereau.
Yeah.
Llewellyn is the child of the Ladereau family. They are the oldest family, like, money family in town, and now Preston is loudly complaining and, like, rambling about, like, Malcolm attacked me out of nowhere. I was merely offering to run a game for Erica and her friends. They miss me so much since the store wrongfully banned me for pointing out an area where they were mistaken about the rules. And I think the Ladereau family is, like, sitting, and, like, I think the elder, like, the patriarch of the family is sitting and sipping coffee and listening to this.
Oh, Llewellyn Ladereau is an enemy. That's fantastic. Yep. So good. Oh, so good.
and like, I think we close on that visual, and that's game.
Yeah, that's game.
Hell yeah, this ruled. This was so much fun. Oh, this was great. This was fantastic.
Yeah, I'm glad you liked it. Like, it's been a little interesting to see how the mystery kind of comes out, and it just kind of evolves through play.
I love it. I was all about, like, the watching the clues fall into place and having that very kind of detective experience as players was incredibly satisfying.
Right? Like, I love that in mystery games. I'm not a prep GM. I hate it. I'm very much an off the cuff kind of let's improvise and see where it takes us kind of thing.
I think it played so well here. It was so well done.
Thank you.
Oh, I had so much fun with this. Thank you so much for playing this game with me on the show. This was so good.
No problem. Thank you for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, I love this. So real quick before we wrap up, where can people find you, your work, and this game online?
So basically, the company that I've had for many years, I jokingly say I make the games you don't play, is called Firestorm Inc. INK. That pun has gotten me into more trouble than I'd like to think. You can find it on Drive-Thru, on itch, Firestorm Inc. on Twitter. Just you look Firestorm Inc. That's going to be me. And you can see that in all the other games that I've made.
All right. I love it. Well, thank you so much for doing the show. This was such a pleasure. And for now, I'm going to throw it over to me in the future so that he can wrap up things up. Take a future me. Thanks, Past Me. And thanks again to Jonathan for coming onto the show. That game was really, really good. I loved it. I loved the story that we told, the twists that it took, the mystery that spun out. I was so happy with that game, and I really, really enjoyed it. Thank you for coming on. Be sure to pick up your own copy of We Used to Be Friends at firestorminc.itch.io or head to the show notes for more information. And be sure to follow Jonathan on Twitter at Firestorm Inc. Then while you're on Twitter, follow us at Party of One Pod. Like the show on Facebook at facebook.com/partyofonepodcast. Join our Discord community at bit.ly/partyofonediscord to talk about the show, as well as professional wrestling, role-playing games, gritty, all of the things that people talk about. Be sure to head to our merch store at bit.ly/partyofonmerch to pick up the Party of One t-shirt, as well as the Champ and Crowbar Love Each Other t-shirt. It is my favorite thing. And if you enjoyed the show, consider supporting us financially at patreon.com/JeffStormer or Ko-fi.com/JeffStormer, or give us a nice review on Podchaser, tell a friend about the show, just, give us some love on social media, anything to make my day a little brighter, because let me tell you, when somebody says that they like the thing that I make, brightens my whole day. Speaking of things that I make, you should check out the other podcast I produce every single week, All My Fantasy Children, a character creation, storytelling, and world-building podcast on the One Shot Podcast Network, where my best friend, Aaron Catano-Sias, and I take a listener-submitted prompt, we spin it into an original fantasy character, and we populate a shared universe one story at a time. New episodes drop every Friday-ish at oneshotpodcast.com. Party of One is produced and edited, as always, by Jeff Stormer and Jen Frank. All music for the show comes from the song Infinite Lives by Megaran, featuring the D&D Sluggers, and the Party of One logo is by Evan Rowland. If you'd like to inquire about advertising rates, coming on the show as a guest, or about press coverage of the show, you can email me at partyofonepodcast@gmail.com. And that's pretty much all we do here, so until next time, thank you so much for listening. Remember to fight the forces of fascism every single day. Remember that self-love and self-care are radical and defiant acts of resistance, and as always, party on, everybody.